Greetings and welcome back once again to a beautiful, sunny, clear sky. It is very, very calm on the open seas today. The waves are rolling in. It's actually quite peaceful. And we've got quite peaceful music playing as well. Now then, in this episode, we are going to be continuing with our build of... Ooh, what on earth was that? Did I press V? I must have. We're going to be continuing with the build of our submarine. Now, there are a few things we need to change. Let me, first and foremost, get rid of these hydrofoils. I'm really not comfortable with using hydrofoils, but we're going to try in this episode to get used to using them. Uh-oh. What was that? Has the enemy just attacked something? Strength 40, fleet moving to 1-2. Well, you can take it. Right, we are going to be using hydrofoils, or at least I'm going to try to use them. But if I have too much difficulty, I will be stopping that, rather than force you to have to sit with me while I learn how to use them properly. Now, the next thing we're going to need to do is finish off the work that we began on our engine. And there's not actually that much work that we need to do with it. I have been given some advice in the comments that... Generally speaking, you want to have roughly the equivalent amount of fuel tanks as you have superchargers. That is pretty useful. Thank you very much for that advice. And we'll just top it off with some exhaust. And we should have an engine that is pretty much finished then. Let's see, what's our maximum power? About 360. It could possibly be a little bit better, but we'll see if we need it to be better than that. We'll... top this off with a couple more repair bots, now that I notice it, and actually have some on the bridge as well, because, you know, it's a bridge. It kind of needs to be protected. Right, how high is that armor? It's not particularly high, but let's see. Let's use... We're going to move out the jet stabilizers a little bit. Let's bring this out just a tad. About there should be fine, I would say. We can actually finish it off with some of these as well. Now, the one problem with making a submersible craft with wood is that wood, as you may well be aware, not particularly heavy. And generally speaking, you do want this to be heavy. But we'll have to just see how this goes. Jet stabilizer, there we are. Right, so we've brought our jet stabilizers out a little bit. We should probably do exactly the same thing over here as well. One there. Place one there. Oh, is that in the right place? Yes, it is. There we go. And finally, there. Okay, so that's our jet stabilizers taken care of. I'm not really sure if we needed to really give it that much... room out there, but I thought I would anyway. In fact, I may need to get rid of this one. Actually, thinking about it, yes, we will get rid of this one. Instead, we will have the hydrofoils go here. Again, not a big fan of the hydrofoils, but we're going to learn together, no less. Oh, it's going to be glorious. Right, we'll have the hydrofoils starting about there, I think. In fact, let's lock that position and build the hydrofoils out just a bit. There we go. Now, adjust the complex controller inputs. No, we don't need to adjust that. They can fire with the rest of the thrusters. The final thing that we need to do is just make sure that we've got a little bit of downward and upward thrust on this vehicle. Generally around the nose, I find, is the best place to put this. Simply because you want the nose to pitch up or down, not the whole craft. I mean, I guess you could try and balance it perfectly so that it would rise or fall as kind of together. And that might be an interesting project, certainly. But we're going to just try for this one for now. There we go. Now then, before we do anything complicated, like add weapons to this, let's see about checking that it actually works. That seems like a reasonable thing to want to test first and foremost. Up, no, ship, let your master on the bridge. My lord, it shouldn't have been that difficult. You know, in certain places that would have been considered mutiny. Okay, now then, will this begin? Start the engines. No? No, not going to start the engines, TNG. No. What about the side to sides? Yeah, that works. Alright. I think I may know what the problem is there. How about up, down? Down works, up works. Okay. Fortunately, we really do need those hydrofoils below the waterline. So, there are a few things we need to do. Let's continue to increase the weight at the bottom here. No, not quite that far. And then all the way down here. Very expensive on the metal, unfortunately. Very, very expensive on the metal. Now, this is one of the problems with this craft, is that it is just so buoyant because of the very low weight of the wood. And we don't really have the metal. You know, as much as I want to make this a submarine, as much as the Muse is demanding a submarine be made, I'm not sure we're going to be able to make one. And there's not much we're going to be able to do about that, if that is the case. So, okay. Yeah, we're going to change this up a little bit. I forgot to put the mirror line again. There are a couple of different things we can do with this vessel. I was a little bit concerned about the weight. If you're making a sub, you really don't want to make it out of wood. That's just the be-all, end-all of that situation. If you're making it out of wood, then it's going to be fairly light, and you really want this to be not completely submerged. Though honestly, if you could get it to just sink by itself, that would be fine. But you do want it to sit fairly low in the water, and this really doesn't. Even the main propeller is out of the water most of the time. We are going to have to add a lot of weight to the keel, regardless of what we do. So, actually, let's just see what we can do here. Got a little bit of extra because of the hydrofoils being taken back. But that's probably not going to make much difference to this thing. We'll have to see if adding some weapons will actually pull it down. But there are a few things that we can do with this. And given that one of the biggest threats to our operation at the moment are shrikes, I think it is time that we built a ship that can try and deal with that for us. It would probably be fairly useful to have a ship dedicated to taking on shrikes or other airborne threats. Let's see what we can do with that in mind. We'll just fill this out. Yeah, about there. Fill that. And then continue to fill this out on this side. And you may be wondering what I'm doing. I am preparing the way for a turret. We are going to have an AA gun on the top. If this is going to be an AA craft, it needs an AA gun. And let's see, probably about there, right in the middle, I think would be the best place for that to go. So we will anchor the turret here. We can also have torpedo systems on the side as well. This has got an awful lot of armor, so it should be fairly hardy. And if we've got if we're not going to be making the sub, we can also make this AI controllable. Because I'm fairly certain the AI really doesn't know how to deal with subs. So it's maybe a good place to set this up. Let me just check on the map before we do anything else. That's fine. We're okay where we are. Alright then. First and foremost then, we need a turret. We want a precision turret so it can rotate flush with the top of the vessel. We'll place it there. Why is that pointing the wrong way? Let me get rid of that first. I want to make sure that this doesn't do odd things. Alright, let's go back to building. And, right, the front of the vessel is this way, so let's make sure that we are actually indeed pointing that way. There we go. Nope, that was wood block. Damn it. Where is the turret? Okay, well, whatever. Alright, I'm sure this is going to work, but I guess there is one very easy way to test that, and that is to go into this and see if it turns to face where I want to aim. Yes, it does. Very well. We will continue the building of this turret. Go down there. We should be able to... No, we are actually editing the turret. That's fine then. Now, I guess we could actually use wood beams on this. There's no reason not to use wood, given that everything else on it is wood. Not the best material to use, I feel, but... oh well. Beggars cannot be choosers. Well, they can, but... I don't think they're being very realistic about their situation. Right. Now, are we going to make this a double turret weapon? If we are, then we probably want it one wider. We'll see how this goes. You can have the firing piece there and there with... The thing with this is we don't need it to be a very high gauge. We don't need it to be a very large turret at all, really. It only needs to be able to deliver swift attacks. Just needs to have a very high firing rate. That's pretty much the only concern for this weapon. Okay, let's add the mirror line for now. Alright, we'll place the simple... No, custom cannons firing piece about... Could have it about there, maybe. And then the connectors coming back. Damn it. We are really struggling for metal. You know what? Be right back. I'm going to go and I'm going to edit some things up here. It is that time. I have been putting this off for a very long time. Even though I knew it kind of had to happen. Alas. And we really need this metal. So let me adjust this slightly. There we go. There we are. That's one. And hopefully two as well. Now, unfortunately, that means that our fortress thrusters is not good times for them. But we're just going to have to hope that we can make it through without too much trouble. And again, I forgot why. What is it about that one little thing in this game that I just cannot commit to memory? Some sort of shenanigans, I tell you. Witchcraft, I suspect. But this has given us a huge amount of metal now, so we should be okay for quite some time. Oh, we don't want to go that far. There we go. And double tap to move at twice speed. There we are. I really need to replace that later on. Right, let's go back to editing you. Now, as with our previous custom cannon, we can just, given that the only things that are really going to be hitting this are going to come from the top, we can assume that beneath is safe to put stuff. So, what are we going to build down there? We don't need a very high gauge. In fact, we kind of want to avoid that. We do need a high elevation. We do want the motor-driven barrels. How long a range this thing is going to have, I really don't know. But we'll assume that it's going to be a reasonable range. And there we go. Right, that should still give us a decent elevation. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now, we're going to be praying, or rather, well, praying on the fact, or rather praying that the fact holds, that air vehicles are very likely armoured. We want... Autoloaders. This remarkable autoloader reduces reload times for each ammo box that is attached to it, places on the firing piece or on the connector. It accepts 3 ammo boxes. It also acts as a mount for warheads. Ammo box is necessary to fire the weapon. Add a few for sustained or fast firing. Each box loads ammo from the constructible's ammo supply. Well, it's not going to have a lot of ammo on this ship, on this vehicle, so let's... just remove that for now. We'll build this out a little bit more. Like that. And we'll have the auto-loaders here. We'll have that there. That should be connected. Not connected. Why not connected? Is this not connected? Oh, not connected to the firing piece? Oh, I did exactly the same thing again. Ah, man. You'd think I'd learn. You would be wrong in thinking that. Alright, let's fix this. There we go. Now the firing piece can go here. One day, I promise it'll sink in. But until that day arrives, no. Let's go for motor-driven barrels. And then we will replace every other one. Firing piece, elevation barrel, is that right? No? Oh no. I appear to have replaced the wrong part. There we go. There we go. Now we have our gun back. Alright, now, auto-loaders, please. Many, 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 many of them. They should all readjust. They are not connected, connected directly to firing piece or connectors. Really? Why is this not connected? That is curious. That is all connected. Connected to firing piece. There we are. Move these and see how that's working. Yes. Okay. It's just update. It just needed to update. It looks like that side not so. However, get rid of these then. Not connected to firing piece. Does it perhaps need to connect it at the top? And now I can take it away. Let's see. It looks like it's connected. That's a bit odd, honestly. I'm not sure what was going on there. But it seems to have connected now. Let's make sure these are all set up on the same firing group. In fact, I should have done that on the turret while I had the chance. Damn it. Let's reduce this so I can see the turret. There we go. Make sure that's set up on firing group 1. There we are. Okay. Right, so we've got a... should have a reasonable reload time once we add in these ammo boxes. How fast does this fire now? Reload time 4. Not connected. Not connected. Everything is no longer connected. Ah, damn ya. Okay, I'm assuming then that it needs to be connected in this direction instead, on the sides. There we are. That is actually now connected. Fantastic. Reload time less than a second, but let's try and increase that slightly. Now, it should be plenty of room down here. We're going to add... let's see, about there. We're not going to worry about any particular warheads just yet. Right, every 0.13 seconds. That is crazy amounts of firepower. And for crazy amounts of firepower, we also want crazy amounts of ammo. Should have a lot that this can now hold. Okay, how much ammo is used per shot? 10 per shot. It can fire 380 bullets. Reload time, ooh, that's actually really not that good. It's not going to have a very long firing time. We need more ammo. If we bring it up to about that point, then when this is fully loaded, it will have a reasonable amount of firing time. So it can fire 560 bullets in total. Still not going to last us very long. And I do feel that we need some improvement on the actual damage it can do. Let's see. I'm fairly certain if we add gauge increases, it increases the amount of ammo it takes per shot. Let's just check that. Yeah, it now uses just over twice as much ammo. So we're not going to go with that, but what we will do is we will reduce its rate of fire just slightly. I suppose we could go with some of the other blocks. Explosive might be worth using. Or we could go with armor piercing. I think we'll go with explosive. We're gonna hope that generally what we're shooting at is not going to be able to sustain much actual explosions going off. Explosive damage 27, kinetic damage 205. Same amount of ammo use. Okay, we're going to go with this and hope that this thing can do well. We're going to need to test it, obviously, but we're going to assume for now that it will work. That may be a dangerous assumption. There we are. And we'll just fill this out at the back there. Won't be able to quite take it that far, unfortunately. Actually, we'll get rid of you. And we'll just build this out like that. There we go. Now, this is not a particularly good weapon because it is so poorly armored, as is obvious. But hopefully it's going to be enough to knock some things out of the sky, especially if we have a lot of them in operation at the same time. We could have a little fleet of these things roaming around, providing fire support. Plus, we can add further weapons on the sides. We're going to get to that in a moment, though. First, I need to find exactly where that turret is. Let's go into this mode, locate the turret, then sink right down. There we go. We're going to take this. Let me check. Turret is there. One down. Okay, we can put the AI here. Or we could. Damn it. Never mind, the turret is still shown. Right, so we want the weapon control here. Or we would, if we could. We're going to need some connectors first. I'll just build that out for now. I think it's directly above. Yeah, there we are. Okay, local weapon controller. We will have that. We could just build a AI system specifically for this weapon. We'll have that since this will be operating as part of a fleet. But we could literally just connect the AI directly to this system instead of doing anything else. And if we're going to do that, we may as well put some wood blocks underneath to create an actual platform. There we are. And just anchor that to the top there. Like so. And then we can get rid of these ones on the side. Oops. Alright, we're starting to get somewhere now. This design has gone through a few changes that I wasn't expecting to have to account for, but it's slowly getting there. Actually, why don't we just build this up from the floor instead? There we are. That makes a bit more sense. Now, the AI we're going to attach, we just need an AI mainframe. We can place that... See, the main thing I don't want to do is go over the engine, but I guess I'm going to have to. Oh dear. What have been 3 enemies? Shrikes? Crap. Okay, well... Time for me... Where am I? I'm in the captain's seat. Okay, well, this is my moment to test this system out then, I suppose. Unfortunately, this is bad times for us because they can easily shoot me down here. And I've already lost part of the gun. Well, crap. try and get a sight on this one as it's coming in. I don't have a predictor. That was an oversight on my part. Should really have added one. So many bombs. We kind of need to be getting out of here. Oh, this is bad times. Are my engines even responding yet? Oh, I've lost the engine. I've got a funny feeling we're going to lose this one. I don't think there is a lot that we're going to be able to do to avoid that outcome. Perhaps it may be a better idea to leave. I think, yes. For now, tactical retreat, I think. Terror from the deep, let's move you over here close to the resource zone. Let's move the starting fortress over here as well. And we're going to crew Terror from the deep. No, we're going to crew the fortress so that we can get it out of the water. Retreat to friendly area. Well, crap. That was very unsporting of the enemy, not giving me proper time to prepare my weapon that's specifically designed to kill them. I think they're just afraid. I certainly was. Alright, let's get this out of the water if we can, so that my resource collectors will kick in properly. There we go. Right, where is the Terror from the deep? It's over yonder. Okay. Right, well, that was unfortunate. We just weren't quite ready for that attack yet. Now, I'm going to want to get you over to the fortress if I can, so I can help repair. Let's get in there. Up, up, up. There we go. And let's close that door. There we are. Now, one thing I noticed is we weren't really moving. Are we? Oh, really? I know what this is. Sometimes you need to just toggle the... just basically view the propellers. I'm not sure what causes this, but it's happened to me before, where the propeller kind of forgets what control group it belongs to. What I'm doing now is I'm literally just looking at the propeller. That's all I need to do. Once I've had a look at it, it remembers that it belongs to a control group, and then adjusts accordingly. So right now it belongs to the main thrusters. So when I turn the engines on, it starts moving forward. It's as simple as that. Let's kill the engines for now. Do I have the side thrusters? Are they working? Oh, wait. These need to be set to reverse thruster mode so that they'll turn me the correct direction. My bad. I hadn't yet gotten to the point of testing all of this out properly. Right, okay, let's see if this turns correctly. There we go. Perfect. Forward, please. Let's take us a little bit closer to the fortress. Don't ram the fortress, you understand. Just bring us close. Ah, damn you, Shrikes. At least my ammo wasn't right at the back, which is often where I put it. That would have ended quite badly since we lost the back of the vessel pretty early on. Okay, let's kill the engine there. Should be good enough. Alright, let's return to working on this for now. We've got the AI in place, or we were getting the AI in place. I actually... yeah, we'll build the AI just above the engine. All we need for that then is AI mainframe, AI card slot, both sides. I'm not... well, oh wait, I've got the mirror section. Not what I meant. Let's get rid of those. Right, okay. Well, this card slot is not above an exhaust, so I'm okay with that. And we're not going to need the wood sections to come all the way down there. Right, cards. We want target prioritization. This card can be inserted into a card slot that will allow prioritization of certain targets as both the primary targets of the AI mainframe and the weapon systems, or aim point selection. Aim point selection is probably the only card that I really need right now. So this will try to aim for vulnerable parts of the enemy vessel. Add a little bit of extra ammo in here as well, because this system is going to need a lot of it. And since we are putting ammo there, let's make sure that there's a decent amount of protection on either side as well. In fact, let's take that all the way up. There we go. Right then. Not the way I wanted to have to look at wrapping up this episode with a flight from the enemy, but it is becoming a bit of a pattern at the moment, unfortunately. Yes. But we're getting closer to the point where we're actually going to be able to start taking these guys on, I think. Maybe. Let's go ahead and just wrap this up by adjusting the AI to properly fight. Now, maximum range to target, let's say something fairly close. Let's say 400. I'm not sure if that's going to work or not, but we'll see. Just engage, no limit, just start firing straight away. However, there is one thing that I do kind of want. Are they here as well? Ah, no, really? Oh wait, no. That's probably just normal enemies, that's fine. Okay, well, I am actually going to add one more card to this. We'll add... Let's go for Tracker Target Association. Card will be inserted into your card slot and will allow the clever assignment of targets to trackers. Targets with the highest priority to go first and are given only trackers that can see them. We'll attach that in as well. We are now going to need a wireless transmitter though. Let's put that in. Wireless transmitter. There we are. I want this weapon to be able to track and prioritize targets and get the more detailed tracker information for them. So we're going to take this out. We're going to add in let's see, connect the 6-way, bring that back there like so. We'll add some wood blocks on the sides. One there, and indeed one here. There we are. That'll protect us a little bit. Pile the wood blocks up in here. Right, so we want a wireless receiver. Connected to mainframe, fantastic. And we want a tracking laser. There we go. Can it see? Yes, it can. Fantastic. Right, well, I guess we could wrap this up by testing this out a little bit. Let's see how you can do in an actual fight, little boat. Let's go. Now, you've got decent propulsion, so we should be able to get there fairly quickly. And hopefully, this weapon is going to be good enough to take these guys on by itself. Now, ultimately, and probably in the next episode, provided we don't get obliterated by Shrikes before then, I will be adding a torpedo system to this vessel as well. And then hopefully we'll be able to do a decent bit of damage. Now, how far away are they? We can probably reach far further out than we are actually. We've got the AI set to right now. Let's adjust that quickly. Go ahead and target a little bit further out to 600. Now, I'm not sure how much damage this thing is going to be able to do to the enemies, given that it's really designed for anti-air combat, but just to see this in action, I guess, we'll bring this out like this. It's not doing too bad. It is firing some explosive shots every now and then. Where on earth are you aiming? Oh, you're trying to compensate. Fair enough. Let's try and take him on, if we can. Most of these shots are just bouncing off, though. That is a bit of a problem. Perhaps we do need to go for armor piercing instead, then. That is definitely a problem. Okay. We'll probably adjust the anti-air cannon to have a little bit of armor piercing. Or just more explosive shells. Though that said, I guess it is actually doing some damage. Otherwise we wouldn't be receiving resources. Perhaps it's just the explosive shells that are doing the real damage because they're exploding on contact. And the missiles are finishing this job now. They're going to hit me as well. Damn it. Okay, well, I'm not entirely satisfied with this yet. I think I might want to move that huge propeller down slightly as well. So it's under the water properly, because it's not really doing anything right now. Not until this gets a lot heavier, at least. Maybe we could work on the keel as well. But for the time being, I think either armor-piercing or more explosive shells for this thing. And then we'll see how this goes. Generally speaking, it's more for taking on airborne threats than ships, so I guess I shouldn't worry too much if it's unable to pierce the armor of ships, but those ones are made of wood, so yeah, we probably do want to improve that just a little bit at the very least. But on the whole, I'm fairly happy with this little vessel. I do wish it would be a little bit sit a bit lower in the water, but that will be helped once we can build a better keel for it. And on the whole, yeah, I'm happy with this. We'll add a torpedo system, and then this little vessel will actually be capable of doing some work for us. The other thing I could do with the turret is obviously build out the back end a little bit and shape it to sort of a curve, and then we can use more space in the back then to add some armor piercing and explosive. So yeah, on the whole, not too bad at all. I may move the AI a little bit. I might move that into the bridge, perhaps. I'm not sure yet. I may keep it where it is, but if I do give this the ability to pilot the vessel, I may move the AI to the bridge instead. Just because that seems to make a bit more sense to me. But for now, I'm fairly happy with the Terror from the Deep. I guess it doesn't really deserve that name anymore since it's not a submarine. Despite where we were taking it initially, until we've got huge amounts of metal resources, I think submarines are going to be out of our reach for now. But that is it for this episode. I do hope you've enjoyed. I hope you will be joining me for the next. But until then, and as always, do take care and enjoy the sunset.